You you have a big passion for what I call autoimmune diabetes or type 1 diabetes. Where does that passion come from and what do you want to do with it?
Yeah. So my wife and I have been blessed with four children now in their 20s and 30s. And three of our children, our three sons, all developed type 1 diabetes before they were 2 years of age.
Wow.
So think back 25 years ago to 32 years ago. We didn't have continuous glucose monitors. We basically did finger pokes 4 to 6 times a day. We gave insulin shots at least twice a day so that we were giving, with three kids, we were giving 40 shots a week and maybe 90 plus finger pokes a
Wow.
week. And let me be clear, that was my wife doing that while I was busy working at the office and coming home at 7 or 8 o'clock every night. So she's amazing. So we have a
So I have two
passion of that
questions.
because our kids have it.
I have two questions about that.
Yeah.
How do you even diagnose diabetes on a 2-year-old? How did you know? He just got dehydrated?
They get lots of wet diapers, like
Yeah.
hostage.
Yeah. For our first son, I remember coming home and seeing some excessive thirst and frequent wet diapers. And I actually called my friend Andy Bauer, who was working at the other practice. This was right before we started Greenwood Pediatrics. And he saw him immediately, and we made the diagnosis. With my other two kids, we were able to do a little bit of antibody work, but it was not as sophisticated back then. We just knew that they each had one antibody, and we knew that was a possibility. Our third child ended up having DKA, was in the ICU, etc. And
So tell me a little bit more of that if you don't mind sharing, because I'm traumatized by the memories as a resident taking care of kids in the PICU with DKA.
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
It's just a horrible disease, and I just kept remembering the endocrinologist was always screaming. She wasn't screaming, but I was always saying, "Do not hydrate him too fast. You'll cause
yeah,
brain edema. They'll herniate and they'll die. Once the kid's dehydrated, what do you want me to do? Be careful. That fluid shift will kill the kid." And
yeah,
luckily, I never saw anybody died, but it was so stressful to see a kid basically in shock, and you're worried about pushing a bolus because they might herniate, and
yeah.
I cannot imagine from the parent's perspective, having your 2-year-old in the PICU with DKA. That'd have been tremendously traumatic for you and your wife.
When our third son, he became ill with a upper respiratory infection, and I went to work on a Saturday morning. And when I came home and I saw his color, I literally just picked him up, said, "I'm heading over to the hospital.